Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another night with On the Pole Racing. Currently, we're looking at Jonathan Herbert as he's taken to the track here at the Nashville Super Speedway, where the Extreme Truck Series, the Extreme Truck Series comes to you live. Currently, I'm only seeing 4 drivers on track, so we'll see if we can get more coming in. Let me see here. That is the wrong labeling there, so just give me one quick moment and I will get that fixed pronto. As there we go, it's now fixed. So now if we can just get our tower to show, that would be a wonderful internal server error. What in the world does that mean? I have not a flipping clue. So now we gotta figure this out. I don't know what it means by internal server error. Let's close that down. Let's try to reopen it as I'm going to do my best here to work through this. I don't know what the technical difficulty was there. But again, we're looking at the 34 of Jonathan Herbert taking a few laps around the Nashville Super Speedway. No, dang, that's not what I want either. Where did somebody move my program to? There we go. The cameramen got to get their act together tonight. But there we are, finally getting somewhere with this, I hope. As we look here. Oh, Fooey, something is not right, so we gotta go and look here. Let's see here, where is our, there we go, finally we get somewhere with it. So Jonathan Herbert is out front, or not out front, but out on track currently. He's running second fastest for the night with a 30.68. The fastest of the night is Josh Brown with a 30.38. Not exactly sure where the rest of the field is tonight. Not sure what happened there, as we should be okay. Slide this. Okay. And as we're waiting to see how tonight goes, I don't see too many names around here in the alrighty. So I'm still we're looking there at Jonathan Herbert, Dave Stinson. So we should have all right, see a few of them sitting there on pit road. That is the 67 of Josh Brown there on the front pit stall. The 420 of Paul Viatel there in behind. The 34 of Jonathan Herbert there in the middle. Dave Stinson, I don't know. Yes, Dave Stinson has taken a lap, so this will be an interesting showdown tonight. I just got word that they weren't fully expecting the race to be broadcasted, but I figured, well, I'll go ahead and test out some camera views and stuff and still support the league the best I can, even though we do have a small crowd here this evening. Hopefully, though, we get a few more drivers, but if not, I've done broadcasts with 2 car sport counts, so, and have had some exciting racing. So let's roll off now. Let's hope we can figure out who out of these top 4 drivers that we got in here right now will pull off a victory here this evening. That means most of them will be guaranteed a top 3. All are guaranteed a top 5. But all 3, there'll be 3 of them in the top 3, so that'll leave 1. Well, no bad weather is in the forecast, so we should be okay. I'm real sorry about that for last week. That's the 67 of Josh Brown we got on track. That's right. Looks like we got a new name joining us. David Hanna will be joining us here on track at some point as we are winding down practice. Got about 6 minutes left of practice left to go here. Good looking 67 machine. He's the only one out on track. Have our gyro cam. Bear with me, as tonight I'm going to experiment a little bit with cameras. Just to try to figure out where certain cameras are. David Hanna's out on track. He's looking pretty smooth so far coming around this super speedway. Sorry if I'm not talking a whole lot. There's just not a whole lot of action for me to catch on right at the moment. Like just trying out a few things. Going to try out a few different camera views. Hopefully we do well tonight. Dominic, thank you for joining in here. I realize it might be a small car count, but I've seen small car counts give great racing. So let's hope that is the case here tonight on this episode of On the Pole. I will say I've raced at Nashville Fairgrounds. I don't believe I've ever raced here at the Nashville Super Speedway. So I really don't have any of my own input to give here. Not really seeing too much going on here as we're still looking at the number 20 of David Hanna. Not showing a number on the side of that truck, so that's kind of odd, but he's got the Rhino on the front of that Toyota. There's 67 of Josh Brown, 34 of Jonathan Herbert, Dave Stinson there in the 93. Paul Beatle there in the 420, as you can see whenever we can get a better shot. Dave Hanna out on track with about a minute 45 left to go here in practice. Josh Brown, the 67, down there on the outbound area of the pit road. Not sure if he got black flag for cutting up too quickly to the racetrack. As it looks like that could be a case, as he don't look to be fully up to speed. We will keep an eye on that as he comes around here. Looks to be okay. Getting a little loose coming off of turn 4. On the backstretch. Coming into corner 3 and 4. Looking pretty good. On front of him there you see the number 20. Pretty close on lap times here throughout the field. Only a few hundred or few tenths separate them. I want to say it's a 6/10 split from first to fifth, if I'm reading the times correct. Josh Brown taking it back on the pit road. David Hanna out there. 5 seconds left in practice. So let's go ahead and break now. And I noticed most of the country was flying at half staff, so we're going to do the same here tonight as we honor our flag and our national anthem here to get tonight rolling. And we're back here at the track of Nashville Super Speedway. Currently looking at David Hanna as he's laying down his qualifying times. Josh Brown also out on track to lay down some qualifying times as well. There you see them. Well, as the time starts scrolling in here, looks like Dave Hanna laid down a 30.83 for his first lap. We will have to see how he goes for his second lap. Josh Brown coming around to complete his first lap. On the bottom, up to the wall again. Through the Geico restart down on the apron. His first lap as we come into turn one is a 30.42. So it looks like David Hanna, the last lap he had was a 30.87. So he's going to settle with a 30.83 for his qualifying time. And with the 67 of Josh Brown coming around for his second lap. We'll have to wait and see how his second time comes about here. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to have the radios on. As we get rolling here, thank you for the 2 viewers that are watching this evening from the Nashville Super Speedway, brought to you by the Fleeger Farm TV on the pole. Very glad to be bringing this to you. Jonathan Herbert now coming out on the track for his first qualifying time. Gotta make sure you don't pass that blue, come up onto the racetrack until you get past that blue cone. Otherwise, iRacing will black flag you for a unsafe pit exit. And we most certainly do not want that to happen to any of these drivers during qualifying this evening. Well, this lap here is his out lap. I think this will be his lap one as we're timing it right now. This is the 34 of Jonathan Herbert. This league's definitely looking to grow, looking to get some new members. So if you know anybody that's looking to get into a truck series, come join Extreme Truck Racing here on Thursday nights. I will be your broadcaster. My name here in the booth is Fleegster. Some of them people know me around the iRacing scene as the One-Eye Wonder. If you ever catch me out on track, you might see that on some of my cars I race. I don't do that too often anymore, as I'm more so in the booth and really enjoy it a lot more up here watching the action unfold on the racetrack. With his first lap, he pulls in Herbert here pulls in a 30.72. I think that was that his second lap? That might have been his second lap there. But on your scoreboard, you see there at home, he has a 30.71. Now we're not waiting for the boss man, Dave Stinson, to come out on track, along with Paul Viato. Unless they're just going to ride it out there in the back and kind of just let it roll, we will have to see how this night plays out for those two gentlemen sitting there currently in 4th and 5th positions. Oh, let's take a short break here and get a word from one of the station shout-outs here. This will be for White King Coffee.
The only thing worse than being stuck at home is being stuck at home without coffee. We can't let that happen. Browse our selection and order online. From sweet to tangy, hot or iced, we have something for you. White King Coffee, because every cup makes a difference. Cheers!
providing a great cup of coffee and a better life for the blind and disabled. White Cane Coffee, because every cup makes a difference.
So as we're getting ready to roll on here, we got about 12.5 minutes here before we kick off the warm-up session. I want to give you a little bit of insight of White Cane Coffee. I got a little extra here. It says, we need your help. We're on a mission here at White Cane Coffee, a mission to provide meaningful living wage jobs to those with disabilities who would likely be turned down by other business. In fact, that's exactly what happened to our CEO, Erin Willman. She, as you could probably guess by now, is blind. She is also on the autism spectrum. Erin is also the woman depicted in our company logo. Whenever Erin would apply for jobs when she was younger, all people would see is her white cane. They would see her as being a burden and would turn her away. Erin wasn't having any of that. She knew that she was worth a lot more than minimum wage, despite what others had wanted her to believe. So she combined her passion for coffee and the desire to be treated fairly, and she started the White Cane Coffee Company. When you purchase any of the White Cane Coffee products, you aren't feeding the wallets of a greedy multi-billion-dollar corporation. You're feeding a company that cares. You're feeding those with disabilities that are eager to earn a fair wage. So please check them out. Their website, get it up here. It should have been in that little excerpt there before, but we'll take another shout out to White Cane here before we get rolling.
You know what would make that better? A cup of White Cane coffee.
Wow, that really is great coffee.
White Cane Coffee, because every cup makes a difference.
Again, that's just showing my support for the White Cane Coffee Company. Definitely got some great brews there. Please check them out at whitecanecoffee.com. Got about 10, we're rolling down to about 10 minutes to go here in qualifying. Still have not seen Dave Stinson or Paul Beatle out on track yet. I've seen this league kind of dwindle away here as the season's gone on. I definitely know the struggles of that, as my league that I tried to start up did the same exact thing till I got down to 2 drivers. So I do not want to see that happen here. Sounds like they got a few drivers that still want to stick around and keep racing, but they need other drivers to come in and compete as well. Not much there, Kevin. Hopefully everything's good with you. Got about 9.5 minutes here. We'll see if we advance or if we'll just let this roll out. As we're waiting here, let's take a shout out to another one of our station sponsors. That will be the Lions Club Internationals. We're going to go and give you a little bit about their Kids Sight program.
Sight is one of the huge things that impacts a child's learning. And if you can step in at a young age, you can change that child's life forever.
My husband, Gene, and I go in and screen 4 and 5 days a week. If we find one child that we can help, we feel like we've done a successful screening.
Put your hand up, you see it? There you go. We screened a little boy. He could not see the milk on his tray. We got him glasses, and his mama said I cried. I did not know that that child could not see.
I could see with my glasses on.
My son was 3.5 when the Lions Club screened his eyes. We discovered that my son had amblyopia.
It's typically caused by the 2 eyes getting abnormal and unequal input into the brain. The parents can't tell that because the child functions normally with the dominant eye.
If bicycle.
Very good.
We started with the process of his treatment in the form of him wearing a patch so that the weak eye would be forced to work.
The devices we use today are easy to use. You can do very simple training.
And you get those green circles.
To get lions out in the field doing the screenings.
Gavin, can you look right at the front of that camera? Screening the children is fairly simple. Within 30 seconds of taking an image, we can determine if the child is referred for further testing or has passed the screen.
What really made this possible is the development of technologies that allowed the detection of risk factors for problems that cause vision loss in children.
The camera checks for 13, 14 different issues with the eye. And it brings up astigmatism, amblyopia. There's a number of issues that come up.
One of the great things is the follow-up, to really make sure that the children are being seen by a professional to get those vision problems corrected.
The biggest way that this has now grown is that the pediatricians recognize that this technology works.
Looks good.
Every referral is a success story in my mind because we found somebody that needs some help.
Lions screened over 500 kids today. How many people can say that? How rewarding that is to know that you've served your community in that manner. You don't get paybacks like that very often.
Avery's on the brink of turning 16. He's a very bright young man, and he is a very good athlete, and we attribute all these things that he's able to do now because his vision has been saved through the Lions. We all have a story as to why we joined the Lions Club, and for me, my story is personal. The Lions Club saved my son's vision.
All right, we are back here at the Nashville Super Speedway for another night of exciting racing, brought to you by the Extreme Truck Series. Looking like we might have about 5 trucks take the field here this evening with about 5.5 minutes left in qualifying if the league lets it play out. If not, we might go ahead early into the warm-up session. Again, not sure exactly why this league kind of took a plummet at the moment, but hopefully we can watch it grow here on Flieger Farm TV and on the poll. Hopefully this starts kicking off here soon. We got about 4 minutes left here in qualifying as it stands right now. About 2 minutes and 15 seconds left and qualifying now before we can get underway with the warm-up session for this evening. Okay, 5 seconds to go before we hit warm-ups and get on with the racing action this evening. Looks like we will have about 5 trucks this evening. Okay, as we're underway here with warm-ups, we've got about 8 minutes or so left in those. Jonathan Herbert out on track. We'll see if he can improve on his qualifying time at all. Josh Brown out there in the number 67 as well for his hot laps. So Brown is out front with a 30.46, and Jonathan Herbert is rolling around with a 30.58. Brown getting to the back of Herbert here through turns 1 and 2, down the backstretch. I haven't really seen Vitale take the Viaddle take the track yet, along with Dave Stinson. I know they took some practice earlier in the evening when they were out for practice laps. So we're going to see how well this rolls out. Again, we got about 5 trucks this evening. We would like to see more, so if you are interested, please check out the Extreme Truck Series. As we're coming out of turn 3 down the turn 4 down the front stretch. Brown and Herbert running together. Looking to see what we got going on here. Got under 5 minutes to go now till race time. 5 minutes till race time. Warm-up still pursuing here at the Nashville Super Speedway. Off backstretch, here he comes down the chute here. That is going to be the 67 and the 34 of Jonathan Herbert. Herbert still out front of the 67. Kind of trying to see if he can watch that mirror, figure out what lines that 67 is running. They can run those faster times. One thing I have noticed, so running some of these Craftsman trucks, sometimes it is the second truck in line that runs a faster lap time. But as soon as you dip that nose out and try to pass, that's when you lose all the momentum you had sitting behind them in that draft. So we'll see if the 67 of Brown can find a way around the 34 of Herbert here in this warm-up session, just to get him some practice passing. As I think that's going to be what this comes down to tonight, is making sure you can get through the passes, get through the field easily. Might see some fuel. Might see it come down to pitch strategy as well. I never roll out pitch strategies in these league races. As that last lap, Herbert was faster by 0.04, or no, I'm sorry, 0.06 of a 0.06 of a second. I'm sorry. Brown ran a 31.19 and Herbert ran a 31.13. Brown's looking to try to see if he can build up some momentum now to get on the inside. We've got about a little under 3 minutes left to go here in warm-ups. That time around, Brown ran a 31.23 and Herbert ran a 31.29, so they're pretty even. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Looking to have an exciting race on our hands this evening with the Extreme Truck Series. Currently out on track, it's just Josh Brown and Jonathan Herbert getting some final practice laps in, getting some hot laps in here, as we shall call them. Got about 2 minutes left here in the warm-up before we hit the main feature. 67 getting a little loose there on the coming out of turn 2. That is one thing we're definitely going to keep an eye on here in the booth this evening. Try to keep our cameras focused on the trucks as they come out of turn 2. I've seen it a few times during practice and now in hot laps where that truck does seem to get a little loose. 67's going ahead and burning down the tires. Not sure if the tires carry over or not, so be interesting to see if burning them down there at the end of warm-up will cause any problems or not. I'm going to guess with him burning them down there, the 34 has entered back on the pit road. Are we getting ready to start the evening here with a minute left here in warm-up? Well, as they're coming down pit road, we should be able to go ahead and throw up the grid here short. No, not results. Should be able to show up the grid here. Whenever it's ready to show itself, we'll be ready to go. Brown's back out onto the track again. He doesn't have much time though as we get rolling here with only 13 seconds to go, so we'll probably end up getting to the backstretch and the race is going to begin. Should be a fun one this evening. Can't remember who's our pole sitter right now. Definitely some of the things I want to work out with the league owner to see if we have a sponsor for things such as the pole award. As here we go, we are getting ready to roll here this evening. Josh Brown will be your pole truck sitting on the pole this evening. Jonathan Herbert in second. David Hanna there will be starting third. Dave Stinson in fourth. And Paul Viatel there in fifth. Hopefully they all bring to the grid. So far I see 2 trucks here on the grid. Hopefully we get Hanna, Stinson, and Viatel to come in here. As looks like we only got 2 trucks running. Alrighty, so it looks like we only have 2 trucks really running this race this evening. Unless I missed a memo or something in there, but I don't think I did. So we're going to run it with just these 2 for now. Test out some camera angles, test out some of my work here. Again, we want to thank Admin Box for helping support the league here. And just because it's called Admin Box does not mean that it's only race and league admins that can use it. Anybody can use it. It has great driver commands right at your fingertips. You can hit for pits, fast repairs, tires, your fuel. You're passing on the inside or outside. Great for anybody that is into the sim racing series. So here, green, Brown's out front. Herbert there on his back bumper. Down into turns 1 and 2. Herbert's going to see if he can make that inside line work. Coming to the backstretch. 75 laps is the distance this evening. At 34 of Jonathan Herbert. Running for the Fanatic sponsored machine. Josh Brown out front in that J&M machine. Is that J&M Motorsports? I got to see if I can get a little bit better. There we are. JMB E-Racing is what is on that 67 machine. There we are, side by side, coming into turns 1 and 2 on the backstretch. Side by side, drag race to turn 4. It'll be Herbert getting the lead. 67 of Jonathan Brown still there on the back bumper of that 34 machine. should be great racing even with 2 trucks. Wish we would have had more, but you know what? We'll take what we're given. Josh Brown can go ahead and use the draft to use that to save his equipment some so he doesn't burn the tires up too bad. But he doesn't want to lose that draft too much. So he needs to stay up there with Herbert. As we wind this one down, we are now on lap 5 out of 75. Backstretch looks like the 6 or the 34 of Herbert got into the wall some. That's going to allow room for that 67 of Josh Brown to catch back up to him. Good onboard shot there of Josh Brown, looking pretty comfortable in that driver's seat. On board there with Jonathan Herbert now. As there goes Josh Brown to the inside. He's going to complete the pass coming through turns 3 and 4 up through the Geico restart zone. Herbert's going to get right back on his bumper, coming to his inside into turns 1 and 2. Who's going to come out on top this week? Will it be Brown? Will it be Herbert? Stick with us to find out. You can definitely see on the right side of that 34 machine of Jonathan Herbert, he definitely found that outside wall. As you can see the racing stripes down the side from the scraping that wall. You can see the paint all scuffed up there on the driver or on the passenger side of that truck. 67 of Josh Brown out front. Got lots of fans here in the viewing area watching this race. And he's hoping to make sure that he can put on quite a show for them. Unfortunately, not quite the amount of trucks, but it's never ever the amount of trucks. It's always who can come across that line first. 2 trucks definitely still giving a battle. Neither one wanting to give up that easily. 9 laps into this 75 lap race. And it is Brown out front, Herbert in second, coming down into turn 3. Drivers taking care of their equipment, don't want to use it up too quickly. Not sure exactly how many tire repairs or anything like that. There's 34 of Jonathan Herbert. He is trying to chase down that 67 of Josh Brown. Again, looks like he might be taking it easy, but he doesn't want to lose that draft. Once again, that second truck, whoever it may be, behind the leader, needs to make sure they stay close enough that they can reel them in. If they don't stay close enough, they have a chance to where they will not be able to make the moves needed to get back up there to the front. Still under a half a second gap between first and second. Not quite stretching it out as one might think, as the 34 of Jonathan Herbert is in that draft just enough to stick with him, but will it be enough for him to stay with him the entire race and finish this one out? We will have to wait and see how these trucks progress as the night goes on here. Tire wear could become an issue, fuel could become an issue. It's going to definitely come down to pitch strategy probably between these 2 trucks. 2 great drivers, great league here with the Extreme Truck Series. As we're getting rolling down here into turn 1 and 2, unless I misspoke, yes, that's turns 1 and 2 for the lap 13 of 75. We're here at the Nashville Super Speedway, bringing to you the Extreme Truck Series live with the Flieger Farm TV on the pole. One thing's for sure, with two trucks on track, we shouldn't see any cautions, but you never know. I mean, you could see some weird things happen with just two trucks. As that lead still under 2 minutes, or under a half a second gap between first and second. So Brown hasn't really stretched it out as much as I thought he might have. Brown looks really strong out there in that first position. Herbert there in second. Brown's letting off a little bit. The Herbert's going to go to his inside. Drag race it down the backstretch. Herbert might have a run on him here, coming down into turn 3 and 4. These guys definitely making it interesting with just the two of them down the front stretch, side by side. Who's going to lead the lap? The lap's going to go to, I think that was, as they come out of turn 4 here, we will see. Oh no, that was turns 1 and 2. I didn't quite catch who led that last lap. Currently, it's Brown out front. Herbert there in second, right on the bumper of Brown. Coming down to the start-finish line, Brown still out front. Herbert there in second at number 34. One thing's for sure, these drivers are both guaranteed a top 3 finish here this evening, since there is only 2 of them. So, I mean, they really got the winner and the runner-up is really the only 2 positions here on the track. So they're going to battle it out to see who comes out to be what. One thing's for sure, racing like this definitely gives them a little easier time to learn the track for coming weeks ahead. Learn these trucks, the different things that the trucks might do in different situations. They can take a little bit more leeway towards that as they don't have a whole pack behind them. There goes Herbert down to the inside. Currently has the lead over Brown as they come off of turn 4. Herbert will lead lap 19. So I'm sorry, lap 18. They are now on lap 19, coming through 1 and 2. Down the backstretch they go. Brown's at the back bumper of Herbert. Well, Herbert dived to the inside here coming into turn 3 and 4. Will he just stay hooked up to the back bumper? Looks like he's just going to stay there for the moment. Letting Brown know he's there. Herbert to the bottom. Brown stays up. Herbert goes up, comes up to block the 67. Yes, they're definitely both guaranteed top 5 there, Norms. But I would have to say they're guaranteed top 2. As we're still rolling here, Brown to the inside, Herbert on the outside. Coming through the front stretch. Going to be Brown to lead lap 21 going into lap 22. Coming through here, turn 3 and 4. No, 1 and 2, I'm sorry. It's 1 and 2. I keep getting that goofed up here at Nashville Super Speedway. And it's a JMB E-Racing machine out front as your leader. These two have definitely been taking their turns of who's out front. Yeah, I'm watching the comments. There's some there, Norms. Hopefully everybody's enjoying the battle here between these two. I realize that it's not as exciting as having a full field or even a half a field. But like I've said before, two trucks can bring just as much excitement as half a field. As long as they're both competitive and understand the race that they have underneath them. Here we go again. Herbert to the inside. Brown on the outside. Coming down the backstretch. Down at turns 3 and 4. Will Herbert stick it to the bottom? Try to get that pass to start to work there on the bottom side. At the line, that will be Herbert as your leader, coming down into turns 1 and 2. Really good, clean racing going on. I will have to agree with that. A lot of respect between these two drivers as they battle it out here side by side, giving at least the broadcast something to show. Brown way up high, Herbert way down low. That'll be Brown leading that lap. Herbert still trying to fight along that bottom. Backstretch, here we go. We're on lap 25 out of 75. We're a third of the way through the race when they cross the stripe this time, coming out of turn 4. Herbert backed off just a little bit. Going to recatch that draft of the 67 of Josh Brown. We are now 1/3 of the way through this race here at the Nashville Super Speedway. Herbert going to the inside. Once again, going to try to make that stick. Brown up high. Side by side. Once again, coming across the stripe. That time it's going to be Jonathan Herbert with the lead. Brown back to the back bumper again of Herbert. All over the back bumper, I should say, as he's all up and down that track, trying to figure out where that draft is, trying to figure out where the quick line is. Both these drivers doing a great job keeping them trucks underneath them. As we're looking out the back here of the 34, looking back at the 67 of Brown. You can see just how close these drivers get to that outside wall. Herbert staying calm, collected. Brown staying calm and collected there in the seat. You don't see too much wheel movement out of these wheels as they're going around the track here. Nice and smooth. Brown, come through the Geico's restart zone. Come to the stripe. It will be Herbert leading another lap here at Nashville Super Speedway. Brown looking underneath. Not quite having the momentum he wants yet, but he knows these two drivers are definitely going to battle it out hard. Not sure if they can run the full 75 laps on one tank and one set of tires. I am going to say that they're going to need one pit stop, which in my head, if we want to go ahead and just say we'll split the race in half, should be around lap 37 and a half, somewhere in there. So between lap 37 38, that'll be about the halfway mark. We'll see if these drivers come in then. As Brown's back at that back bumper, coming through the trio. Across the stripe. Herbert still leading it out front here on lap 32. Herbert goes high. Brown comes underneath. Through the restart zone, over the line, going to be Brown leading that lap as he makes the pass coming across the stripe. Down in the turn 1 and 2. Who will be the winner tonight? That was still yet to be decided as we're slowly reaching up to halfway here at the Nashville Super Speedway. There comes the 67 down onto the apron. Is he pitting this time? Looks like the 34 of Herbert is pitting this time. So they're both on pit road. We got a slow crawl down pit road here. Got to keep it at that pit road speed. Definitely do not want to get caught speeding and have to do a drive-through. Right side's going on, Brown and Herbert. Right side done, left side's going on. Brown down and away. Herbert down and away. Gotta make sure you don't come up before you pass that blue cone there coming out of turn 3 and 4. Looks like Brown's stopping, gonna wait up for Herbert. And there comes Herbert coming through turns 1 and 2. There's Brown coming up. He made a clean entrance. So does Herbert. We are racing once again here on lap 34. Much respect to Brown and Herbert, as one of them could have easily just ran away with it, but they're keeping them close together, giving us some great racing action here on the pole tonight. Herbert underneath Brown, coming through 1 and 2. Brown up top, Herbert down low. Two Chevys dole it out here. Herbert underneath, Brown up top. Brown dropped back into second position, coming across the stripe. It will be Herbert. Brown sucking it back up there to the back bumper once again. 1 and 2 down the backstretch. We're looking at that 67 of Josh Brown, trying to gain on that 34 of Jonathan Herbert. Hopefully everybody's enjoying this. Even though we have such a small car count, I definitely want to give respect to both of these drivers. Sticking it out. I'm sure they have respect for me too, as I have stuck it out right with them. Herbert down low, Brown up high, coming down the backstretch into turn 3. Brown at that bumper, looking to see what moves he might be able to do. There you see from the gyro cam of the 67 are supposed to be gyro cam, but it's not floating like a gyro would. I don't know. Brown back up there to the bumper. "38 laps out of 75 complete. We are now on lap 39. Brown up high. Gonna see if he can get a run coming off the corner. Does not quite have the run yet. The 34 of Herbert's keeps it low. Coming down into turn 3 and 4. Brown getting a run. Brown out front makes the pass. Down into turn 3 and 4. I think, or that might have been 1 and 2. Herbert's not done yet. That was definitely turn 1 and 2. Here we are now in 3 and 4. Across the stripe, it will be Brown leading this lap. As the laps start to tick down here, we got about 35 laps to go. Get my math right. Down the back stretch. Turn 3 and 4, coming off to the stripe. Going to be Brown leading this lap. Herbert still keeping it close. Definitely see a drag race to the finish between these two trucks. They both have kind of backed off. Kind of played the same strategy to see how long it takes for them to build back up the momentum, to get back up there and fight for that front position. Seeing if their truck's better on top, better on the bottom. The 67 of Josh Brown was way up there next to that safer barrier wall. Down into turn 1 and 2. Brown still leading, but Herbert gaining. Herbert's going to look to the inside, coming into turn 3 and 4. Side by side as we come out of 4 down the front stretch. Brown still going to lead this one. Through 1 and 2. Herbert's trying to go and find that momentum, find that draft to get back up there to that back bumper of the 67 of Josh Brown. Really appreciate these guys fighting it out as hard as they are. Definitely gives us something fun to watch here. As we will watch the conclusion of the Extreme Truck Series here from Nashville Fairgrounds. I could have sworn I seen some puff of smoke coming off of that 67 as we went down into that last turn, but I don't see any damage out of the right side. Herbert still looking in from second position. Both these drivers, I feel, have a pretty good fan base here in the chat, so it's going to be interesting to see which fans are going to be pleased with the winner. Down into turn 3 and 4. Brown still up front. Thank you, Kevin, for sharing the stream. Down the front stretch. It will be Brown leading this lap, but Herbert is right there to try to make a move going into turn 1, and he does. Off the backstretch. Brown now trying to fight back up there, back to the back bumper of Herbert. On 3 and 4, back to the start-finish line. It's going to be Herbert leading this lap. Brown back down there, way on the apron. Fighting his way back up there to the bumper. This race has not finished by any means. Both these drivers want this win. Coming out of 4 comes the 34 in the 67. Single foul currently, but I do not think they're going to end that way, that's for sure. As we still wind down the laps here, we are on lap 49 out of 75. 2 laps away from being 2/3 of the way through this race. There we go. Turn 3, 4. Off of 4. Looks like that Herbert's put a little distance between him and Brown at the moment. As there's about a 3/4 of a second gap that Brown is going to have to overcome, as we are now at 26 laps to go. Turn 1 and 2. Herbert out front. Brown there in second. Down the front stretch. Turn 1, there is Herbert, followed by Brown. Brown still looking to see if he can get that draft to get himself back up here, as he is losing ground to Herbert. Herbert has now opened up the gap to about a 9/10 of a second gap between him and second place. Brown's going to have to start digging a little bit harder. And we're down to 24 laps to go. Who can make it to the end? Brown there in second, finally starting to get a little bit of ground. He's now at 6/10 of a second back. Will he have something for Herbert here at the end of this one? We got 23 laps to find out. Down the backstretch into turn 3 and 4. Herbert out front, Brown in second. Brown still trying to find that air to get him pulled back up there to the bumper of that 34. As he's now at a 3/4 of a second gap between him and Brown. Or, I'm sorry, between him and Herbert. Herbert's out front. Who will it be? Will it be the JMBE racing machine, or will it be a phonetic machine of that being driven by Jonathan Herbert? And you see a nice roof camera coming down into turn 1. Off of turn 2. Down the backstretch they go. Brown now a second back off of Herbert. Not sure if Brown will have anything for him, as he seems to be falling backwards now instead of gaining what he needs to try to get up there to him. 20 laps to go. Brown trying to find a way to get back up there. Herbert up there in front. Definitely lots of action, side-by-side racing during this whole race this evening. Not sure if Brown's just kind of conserving some fuel, hoping that Herbert might run out, as we're down to 19 laps to go. Again, I'm not too sure what the fuel window is for these trucks. Tires, they should be okay on tires and make it to the end without any issue. But fuel is the question. Brown hanging back. He's about a second and a half now, or a second and a quarter back off of the bumper of Herbert. As you see, as they come off of turn 2 down the backstretch. Rolling through turn 3 and 4. Down across the stripe, it is Herbert. Brown now 2 seconds back off of the lead. Wonder if something happened there to Brown. That he is laying back so far. I hope nothing has happened to that truck. They have definitely been putting on a show. Leslie's waiting to see what happens to Herbert, as Herbert's way up front now, 3 seconds up. Looks like Brown's coming to pit road. So that'll leave Herbert out on the track. So Brown's on pit road. Stop and go here for the 67? No, he's taking tires. Herbert took right side tires and is down and away. What about Herbert? That is going to be the news. We're down to 15 laps to go. Now that Brown is a lap down. Hopefully Brown gets back up to speed. Yeah, Brown should be able to get back up to speed before Herbert comes around. $14 laps to go. Will Herbert make it to the end on what fuel he has? Or will Brown come out on top? As Brown has pitted, he is a lap down. So if Herbert has the pit, that will hand the lead over eventually to Brown. Things are shaping up to be pretty interesting here at the end of this one. 13 laps to go. Herbert across the stripe. Here comes Brown. He's going to cross the stripe. Brown is definitely quicker right now on that fresh set of tires. Brown just ran a 30.68 where Herbert's running a 32.66. So Herbert is wondering, I am definitely wondering about Herbert, seeing if he will pit or if he's going to try to stretch it out. That is going to be the big news here as we're coming down to 10 to go this next time by. Coming through turns 3 and 4. Herbert across the stripe, 10 laps to go. And Brown's a coming. Oh, here's the shakeup I was looking for. Herbert's now coming to pit road. Brown still up on the racetrack, coming through that little bit of a triangle, down into turn 1 and 2. There comes Brown. He's on the same lap. He will recapture the lead. Nine laps to go. Brown is now out front. Herbert trying to get off pit road as quickly as he can here. Brown's coming through turns 3 and 4. Brown out front. Herbert in second. He's just now coming through turn 3 and 4. Brown coming down the backstretch. And it looks like Herbert lost it. Not sure exactly what happened there. We'll take a moment here and rewind this to figure out what happened. And it looks like Herbert just got loose coming out of turn. Well, no, looks like he was coming, trying to get back on pit road, maybe? It just lost it? Might have got caught speeding on pit road. As you got to pull in. Brown now is out front by a lap. Unfortunate bad break there for the 34. With 6 laps to go. Almost thinking that was. Herbert has not had the luck on his side at all this season. Definitely put up a fight this evening. Great racing going on. Just an unfortunate night to hit. Unfortunate end to his night, as he will end a couple laps down here this evening. Brown out front. 5 laps to go. Herbert now slinking his way off of pit road. Brown out front, down to the stripe. 4 laps to go. Yep, Herbert's 3 laps down. So Brown will be your winner this evening. I'm a little confused though why it said Brown crashed on my thing, but no matter. We saw it was Herbert that found that inside safer barrier wall, trying to make it back on the pit road for most likely a speeding penalty, leaving pit road or coming on a pit road, one of the two. Definitely got caught with a pit road penalty. As it's 3 laps to go here at Nashville Superspeedway. Two more times around for Josh Brown. Again, feel bad for Jonathan Herbert. Ran a great race. Unfortunate ending to his night. Could not quite get the pit strategy to stretch out the way he needed. Then he gets caught with that pit road incident that he had to come back in and had to make another stop for a holding penalty. So Brown now on the final lap of this one. I want to thank everybody that tuned in here on the pole to watch the race unfold here this evening. We definitely had some great clips of racing between the two drivers. As they now single file it out here for the ending of this one. Brown out front. Coming through the restart zone. Brown will be your winner. Checker flag waves for Brown. Herbert is still going to finish this, but is going to be a few laps down. He can still hold his head high to say that he did indeed finish here at Nashville Superspeedway. Again, we want to thank everybody for tuning in. Hope everybody had a great night here, enjoying the commentary, enjoying the broadcast here, brought to you here from Fleeger Farm TV and on the pole, on this episode of On the Pole. Please catch us next week. Hopefully we have a much better turnout for the Extreme Truck Series as we sit here and watch Brown burn it down here. Definitely deserved. Pitch strategy coming in and playing a big role in his victory. I'll catch everybody next time here on the Fleeger Farm Television and on the pole. Everybody have a great night, and we're going to leave you with another thought from one of our league shout-outs with the Lions Club International.
I was actually born in Bird Island, Minnesota. Born and raised, and still live there now. Everybody knows everybody, and everybody watches out for you. Great place to raise kids.
We have 4 children and 3 grandchildren.
Pretty much any challenge that any one of us faced, we knew we were never in it alone.
We try to create family traditions, and it brings us very close together.
Growing up, I always thought having llamas was normal. So I learned later on that it's not normal to have llamas.
I remember I was always the talk of our class when we came to show and tell.
We'd go to schools all over the place. I could take them into nursing homes. I love being able to do that.
We've had kangaroos. We've had a Sicilian donkey. I had to put my foot down and say no to the camel because I don't think we needed a camel in Minnesota.
He just does everything in a big way, and Lori tends to wind him down a little bit and get him back to earth.
She helped us out.
There's nothing that I couldn't share with him.
We can have conversations about anything, and I use her as a huge sounding board.
We have that mutual respect for each other as husband and wife, as business owners, as people who are donating hours to the community.
Thank you. What else do we need, Grandpa?
When our local grocery store was about to go under, he very quickly got together a group of community leaders and decided that he was going to keep that grocery store alive.
Have a great day.
Appreciate it.
He's so connected to family and community, and that's something that his parents instilled in him, and that carries through with everything that he does.
I'm so grateful that I had a great set of parents that instilled those morals and values. I'm the youngest of 8 children.
He was actually pretty shy, unless it came to sports, of course.
My entire life with my family and playing in sports, we had to count on each other to be able to do things. It was everybody working together, and we've always been there for each other. I think this is the last one we had in that picture.
We ended up sitting on their lap.
That was the one that started it all, you know?
A family that really enjoys being together and loves to have fun.
I look back and my dad was laughing and smiling all the time. He was so positive on everything. He worked very, very hard. He started his propane company up in 1952. Our whole family has been entrepreneurial. He's always told us that when you have a skill, you don't keep it. You share it with other people.
When Brian and Kevin first started the business, they started selling Apple computers to local business people.
We started right out of college in 1979. We struggled for a number of years, but we found out that we can't be everything to everybody. And so we thought outside the box. We said, let's go back to our roots again. We developed software for the propane industry.
Great to have a great day, isn't it?
I still get up every single day and say, hot dog, I get to go to work today. When you really enjoy things, it just makes life so much easier. And if I don't enjoy it, We think, okay, how are we going to change this? And how can we make it better so it is enjoyable?
I think Brian's biggest attribute is his ability to think outside the box.
I just love figuring things out. And that's why I think I like programming so much, because you can figure the flow and what if this happens, you got to go here or you got to go there.
He kind of imagines like, well, what if we did it this way? And you're thinking like it's going to be the worst idea ever, and it ends up working.
He knows that the team is stronger than the individual. And when he motivates that team can do and achieve amazing things.
He treats his employees like their family. He treats Lions as family.
We're part of a 4th-generation Lions family. Lori's grandfather and father were Lions. My father was a Lion, my mom was a Lion, and 3 of our 4 children are Lions.
It seems like every gathering place of the community is touched in one way or another by our Lions Club.
We come up with solutions together. We make our community better.
Brian is just an engager. He doesn't tell people to go get the shovels and the rakes. He goes to get them himself.
If he says he's going to do something, he's going to get it done, and he brings the team together to do it.
Doing the demolition derby involves our entire club. It's a lot of hands on deck.
Brian said he was going to drive the demo derby because that's Brian. He does these things.
Take a risk. Try something you're uncomfortable with and give it a shot.
Brian Sheehan is a motivator.
Brian's a visionary.
He always has a story or a video that gets his point across.
He just engages people. He brings people in, and he does it in a way that it's very fun and it's relatable, but he gets the business done too.
He just lights up a room, and I think that's what he's going to do to Lions International.
He wants you to succeed. He wants you to be the best Lion you can be.
I want everybody to be accountable and hold themselves as to how can I be accountable to have a better club.
He listens to everyone, no matter who that person is, no matter where they are from.
He's going to get everybody working together. I think we're in for a really fun ride.
We've got to have some fun in our clubs. But yet I know we're going to get a lot accomplished and we're going to do things for our community. We're all in this together.
Alrighty, everyone, have a great night. We will catch you next time here on the Pfleger Farm Television Network here with more On the Pulse. And keep in mind, we do have other segments we will once in a while try to run. So everyone have a great night. Congrats to Josh Brown on his win this evening. We will catch you